Learning good warm-up and good stretching is about the Kung Fu itself. The warm-up should not be jumping jacks, sit-ups, and push-ups. The warm-up should contain the martial arts, the basic martial arts and the basic foundation of the northern systems, and this is what breaks the foundation, breaks the person in for learning many different styles. It goes with me when I change, you see. But if you change and you go into your 50s and you don't do this, it's impossible. You can't do it anymore. And therefore your Kung Fu will always be so-so. You will never have high levels of Kung Fu. So I stress the importance of this. And this is a very important concept I really would like to talk about in the introduction of the book.
Sport is basically good for building physical attributes of the body, which can it can enhance certain areas of the early stages of learning martial arts, because athletic ability is very important to a certain stage. After a stage of understanding athletic ability, you build your body to a certain level of athletic ability.
Warm-ups are the foundations of the system. For example, in Mantis, so we'll do some warm-ups and then we'll go into Golo Zai Gua. We'll do Mantis techniques as the warm-ups. And those techniques, you will use the same philosophy as you are doing the stretching for the lengthening and the densening and the making it more watery and more steel-like and cotton-like, all these little philosophies that you have to embody. Just to reiterate a little bit about the warm-up, that how when I said it's not about the calisthenics, your muscles will become pliable, your body will become resilient, and you'll be able to move more cat-like and monkey-like, and your strength will be able to rebound through your body, and you will be able to throw it like water, and you will be able to move like a fast river, but be flexible like a tree in the wind, and springy like a car spring can bounce. This is all important. Strength, therefore, can come from all this. Early stages of training, basic students in the beginning are using all what is physical muscle strength. Wanting to learn this. And in today's times, this is difficult because of work. We don't 24 hours train. Our lives are focused on work, our lives are focused on family, our lives are focused on making money and paying bills, and then when you have time after that is when you can focus on practicing, right? Well, that's today's lifestyle, and we have to adjust. We have to adjust somehow that we can attain these skills, and yet balance our lives so that we can live and make money. And this is a very difficult thing, because you know, you work so hard and you don't have much time for yourself, and this stuff requires, it's a job. It requires work. It requires 24 hours a day to have some type of thought process. Now you can see why it takes 5 years to 10 years just to build these skills. And along the way, of course, you want to build the art skills and the fighting skills and all that. But to the students who want it overnight, you know, it's impossible. They get nothing. In the early stages of training, strength training is important, and that's mostly focused on building the body with stances, low stances, doing muscle invigorating exercises in martial calisthenics. You can implement Western ideas of calisthenics, but you don't want to limit your scope. You want to actually try to pick up the martial calisthenics. These calisthenics are more than just building your body. Muscle energy is only one part of building the body armor. Muscle energy can be diminished very easily, but strong martial building up does not diminish. The analogy you can look at, and it's basically has even nothing to do with martial arts. Take a 80-year-old man or a mason who has lifted mason all his life. He's done mason work all his life, meaning he's worked with bricks, he's worked with stones. All his life he's picked up stones and he has moved stones and he's worked with stones, versus the man fighting or protecting or even subtleties or the subtleties of the techniques. But his inside power is of the same ilk, and of the same ilk is the most important, because it's that life strength, it's that longevity, it's the chi that you build, it's the wei gong, the nei gong, it's the tendon building. Over the long periods of time, you'll see the mason man who has moved stones has not only periods of time these actions, these weights, and accept it. And you need to find the most minimal way to move the maximum amount. You don't want to maximize your power with each brick that you have moved. At the end of the day, you'll be dead. So you learn how to basically minimize the effort to move the maximum load. Hence the idea of Tai Chi saying 4 ounces to move 1,000 pounds. That analogy reflects right into my analogy of the 80-year-old mason man. 4 ounces to move 1,000 pounds. But it takes... Even so, the mason man at 80 doesn't diminish his power if he was to stop lifting rocks. Of course, his body will get old, and it's a natural process. We all get old. But he still has that residual power in his body, that internal power. It's just built into him. And there is no way that we can prevent the aging process. But there is a way that we can age gracefully and age retaining rejuvenated power without having to diminish with age and become feeble and weak. This is the essence of what we do. This is the essence of what we search for. And when I say we, I mean people who actually are searching these. There are 80-year-old computer people who just wish not to search. And those people die very, I believe, shallow. Like I said, when you come into this earth, you come in with nothing. When you leave, they say you leave with nothing, and I don't believe that. I believe you leave with something. And the stronger you build your essence, the more leaves with you. The shallower you want to be. And I know now, if I don't do this now, if I don't train now for the next 50 years, I will not have that chi like Teacher Wang. And that alone drives me for perseverance and to try to reach that level, and not satisfy when I do reach the level, but to reach even further. The chaos, getting back to organizing, is very difficult. I also believe when you start to structure something in such a rigid way, you stop giving the essence, or the students can't find the essence of what it is that you're teaching. And this has to be found by oneself. You start to structure in such a way, you cut out the little in-between stuff that is actually so important and for the masses. But in another way, it's actually very important to have structure to make everything come together, especially for beginners who don't understand what structure without structure actually means. For me, structure without structure is perfectly fine, but for a beginner, it's unacceptable. They need structure. They need to be told. They need to have a roadmap. And that's basically what I'm trying to pull together with all my experiences here in somewhat of the advanced and then higher advanced. And this is a difficult separation on what is actually beginner techniques and what's actually advanced techniques, because they all overlap each other, but the intent on the inside is different. Even though the technique could look the same from the beginner to the advanced, the actual intent is different, and this is what makes it, road mapping this out makes it a little difficult for myself at the moment, where I'm trying to I'm trying to get this all organized. Strange, because what I forgot and what I've done to get to this point is a tree. And 25 years ago, if you were to map out that as a tree, I mean, who the hell is going to want to train? The results 25 years later, especially if you get somebody who's 30, they want quick results. So it's an interesting prospect, but it's something that needs to be addressed and talked about. So getting back to where in the cursory foundation levels, into kicking, punching drills, even though it's a style, it's in and of itself, it's a rudimentary style before you would even go on to anything else. It's like algebra, and then that lays the foundation for all your other math. In China, they preserve this in the kids, and even some old people practice it still as a good preservation. And then that foundation is laid. Once that foundation is laid, it's easy to build upon. You don't have to be taught how to punch and kick. It's a given. Okay? Each style has their own way of punching and kicking. Fine. But the foundation of punching and kicking and where it roots from is there. And that's important, because you don't have to teach that. You just got to teach the stylistic way of the style. And that's easily to take the essence and evolve on. So to get back to this areas of the foundations that we haven't even got into the style yet. So you can see basically the complications of what it is. So just to get a little example of other things, for this area of martial arts, which is extremely important for the growth of a good martial artist, for the early stages of a beginner, for different ways of training, that you focus less on the physical and more on the Neigong, Weigong, and Qigong training. Kids don't really need to be bothered so much with the deep physical. They must balance the aspects of all of them together, because one, their mind is mature. Two, is their time is shortened because they started out late. So they have to keep this in mind, because kids can physically train for many years until they get to young adults, teenagers, into their 20s, and not have to worry about the consequences of the body maturing or developing into the later stages of life where it can't be attained. To learn the forms, to learn the fighting, the kicking, get all the testosterone, aggression stuff out of the body. When you're in your 30s, you can sit back and then deepen that knowledge with the internal practices, building the Neigong. Later, when you get back to your 40s and 50s, you can then go back to the forms again and refine them. But you don't refine them in just the physical aspect. The style becomes styleless at that point also, and it becomes formless at that point.
Small warm-up that was. Not my usual long one. So really that's just to demonstrate a warming up procedure that's very necessary. You don't just do Kung Fu without warming up. You must practice Kung Fu by warming up and make it a part of your life. Not make it a part of your life in the sense of like a job where it's just a daily dosage and then you forget about it. You must make it a part of your life as you breathe and as you eat, and as you go to the bathroom and as you wash. And every day do something and you will gain. Otherwise, the Kung Fu will be empty.